You know what I love doing in the morning? Trick question. The answer is nothing. I just love waking up, staring at the ceiling, hearing the wind blow outside, knowing I have nothing to do for a little while. That ever-comforting feeling of snuggling into my blankets, knowing that, yes, I can fall back asleep and no one is going to come yell at me for it. I know, not the most exciting thing you've ever heard, but what can you do? I was tired. I stared at the ceiling for a little while before smiling, rolling over, and drifting back to sleep. I loved living alone.
For the last time, you royal brat, you can't cook everything by breathing fire on it.
Well, how am I supposed to know that? Do you think I cook anything? What is all this nonsense about becoming sick after eating your food? Why, when I was a dragon...
But you're not. You're a petulant little girl with an anger problem. Where did you learn your manners?
You want to say that to my face?
I would if I didn't have to come down so far.
That's it! Alexander, let me use your shoulders again!
Oh, right. I didn't live alone. I let out a groan and climbed out of bed, putting on some pants and walked outside my room to a very small living area. They were in the kitchen, and if I didn't step in, I was pretty sure my furniture would be lit ablaze.
Hey! What's going on here?
Ah, Alexander. This stupid magician seems to think that everything edible in your house needs to be cooked. Tell him he's wrong.
I'm not wrong. Xander, this dragon is trying to poison us. She's trying to eat raw meat. Raw meat. She is going to kill us.
Please, just look at you. You've probably never eaten any meat in your life, but your bones are showing.
I like to stay in shape. What's wrong with that?
Skeletal spell slinger.
You.
Put a clam in it, both of you. Look, I may have let you stay at my house, but I didn't give anyone permission to cook anything, and stop fighting before you break something. This stuff is expensive, and I don't have the money to get more. Back away from the stove, both of you.
But she's...
I know, but Phineas, she's been a dragon for her entire life. She's never cooked anything before. You ought to have a little bit more patience with someone doing something for the first time. Evil people can be patient too.
See? Alexander is on my side.
No, I'm not! Patience aside, you should know better than to feed raw meat to someone. Aren't dragons supposed to be wise even in the ways of humans? That's basic biology.
I moved them aside and rolled up my sleeves. I sent them to the living room to grumble and wait. The ingredients they were using weren't the best, but since they were already out, I decided to make do. Little fact about me before we continue: if I'm not doing night work, I'm hunting. If I'm not hunting, I'm sleeping. And if I'm not sleeping, you bet your ass I'm cooking. I love to cook. Still do. You name it, I can make it, as long as you put the ingredients in front of me, that is. After a few minutes of cutting up the meat ready to cook, I noticed Irene standing next to me, her face straight.
Huh? What is it?
I've never watched someone cook anything before. I always just ate everything raw my entire life.
Yeah, I suppose that could be a problem if you're just starting out as a human. How old are you anyway? 200, 250?
I'm 20.
Really? So you're the same age as me. That's weird. You know, I would have thought...
But my soul is approximately 790.
Yep, there it is.
Alexander, what are you putting on the meat?
I'm seasoning it. Can't have it going tasting bland, can we?
Taste? What do you mean by that?
You know, taste. You want your food to taste good, right?
I don't taste anything. I never have. I just eat to survive. It's like an instinct. Not because I want some sensory satisfaction from it.
You've never tasted anything? Damn, what a sad life you've led.
Okay. Well, what is it like to taste?
But do you smell things?
Why, of course. It's how we hunt for food.
Okay, right, so It's like smelling things, but with your tongue, on a way, way more intense level. So if something smells good, it's gonna taste even better.
I see. Well, if that's the case, then humans must taste dreadful.
You've eaten people?
Oh, heavens no. I said that thing in the forest to scare you. And it worked, by the way. But I wasn't serious. Humans just have a very strange smell.
How do I smell?
If I told you, you would probably kick me out of the house.
After I was done seasoning the flank, I put it on the stove and it began to sizzle instantly. As the butter and onion marinated into it, Iron's eyes lit up as she stared intently at the flame. Her mouth opened with wonder, as if she was a child witnessing a light show. I looked down at her and couldn't help but smile. When she wasn't yelling, she was actually kind of cute. You know, for a dragon. I took a spoonful of the broth and blew on it for a few moments before dipping my finger in and taking a taste. That's good, but I need something. Let's see what I have. Fresh pepper would be good. Oh, right, garlic cloves. Iron watched as I dipped my finger in and tried the broth and looked at me strangely. I put in the ingredients and stirred for a while.
Is that supposed to make it taste better too?
I guess we'll see, huh?
Alexander, I'll check this time.
Iron promptly lifted her finger up and stuck it into the pot. I jumped back.
What the? No, Iron!
Iron blinked for a moment before ripping her finger out and held it, kneeling down.
Ugh, Alexander, the pot just attacked me!
You stuck your finger in a boiling pot, idiot!
She blew on it rapidly as Phineas laughed in the background.
Oh, goodness. The 800-year-old dragon has the instincts of a baby. Bring her to me. I'll heal it. She can owe me.
I put my arm around Iron's shoulder and walked her to Phineas, who began casting a spell on Iron's finger. She looked at it glumly like a dejected child.
Are you alright?
That pot is stupid, and I strongly dislike it.
The pot didn't do anything! You stuck your finger in hot water! You did this to yourself!
Dragon scales are nearly impervious to heat. I forgot. Thank you, Mage. That feels better. Stupid jester not warning me ahead of time.
Why, you little...
I decided to get back to cooking as Phineas finished healing Iron's wound. I smirked back at her expression. Watching her essentially learn the ropes of being a human was entertaining, to say the least. After a bit over half an hour, I used what they had to make a very tasty stew. Filled a few bowls and put the food in front of the three of us. They started eating, and I could tell both of them liked it, albeit they showed it in very different ways. Phineas grinned like a madman and wolfed half of it down instantly.
Oh, solid food. Oh, it's been so long. No more grass salad for Phineas.
Iron picked up a spoonful and eyed it carefully, letting it drop back into the bowl. She picked up another spoonful and slowly put it in her mouth. She opened her bright red eyes and blushed. She put the spoon back into the bowl and blinked a few times.
What does the princess think, eh?
It's edible.
I smirked. I knew that was about all I was going to get out of her. I slowly ate my bowl as we readied ourselves for the conversation we didn't want to have the day prior.
So, we need to get some information on dragon magic. One of you has to know something about it. Iron?
I do know of some dragon magic, but it's mostly practical for defending oneself. My father had me learn from an instructor should I come across a point where my raw strength would not get me by. Unfortunately, he did not take into account the fact that I could be turned into a human. So my knowledge on this matter is somewhat limited.
Damn it. Phineas, come on. There's gotta be something in that wizard brain of yours that will help us out.
Xander, if I knew about dragon magic, what would I be doing stealing tomes from libraries? The little I read of the spell I took wasn't even enough to turn Iron entirely human. She's still part dragon, as you can see. I wouldn't know where to begin with reversing it.
To be honest with you, I was really hoping I wouldn't have to go into the library looking for a book on how to reverse a transformation spell. The librarian would throw me some mighty suspicious looks if I say it was just out of curiosity. Are we positive we know no other way?
Positive. Perhaps we could wear a disguise and go with you.
Ah, perfect idea. I could wear a mask and no one would recognize me.
What? Did you forget about your horns?
Damn it. The horns. I always forget about the horns.
Like, it wouldn't work for either of you. Vespera is a totally lively city full of merchants that will get in your face with their merchandise. If you get too close, they could recognize Phineas, and they would tell within seconds that Iron is a human.
So, what do you suggest? You wouldn't even know what to look for.
Maybe, but it's a better shot than having a criminal walk into a public building.
I wonder if our chances would better rely on not getting caught, rather than leaning on Alexander's limited intellect.
Preach.
Why, you? There was a knock at the door. We all turned towards the door. I turned back towards them and shushed them quickly. Shh. Who is it?
Open the door. Run.
Shit, not the old bat. Hide, go now.
Who is that?
Unimportant, just get out of here. You too, princess.
Hey, I wasn't finished with my food.
Whine about it in the closet. Out. Now, out.
What do you want?
I heard from Edith that you disappeared mid-mission last night. I was beginning to think something happened to you.
Me? You crazy? Come on, like I said, I'm a great sword fighter.
So you say. Why are you acting that way? You seem off.
Who, me? Just hanging out, right as rain.
Right as rain.
Is there an echo in here? Anyway, I'm fine. You don't need to worry about me.
Expecting company, boy?
Huh? Why do you ask? She pointed behind me to 3 bowls. One was eaten, one was half eaten, and the other only had a few bites taken out of it. I cursed to myself and turned back towards her and smiled. Yeah, you! Eat up!
Oh, is that right? Well, in that case, thank you. I'm starving.
Gladys took Iron's bowl and began eating spoonfuls.
Hey, that's mine! Phineas, she's eating my soup!
Shh, shut up. You're going to get us caught.
So, tell me, Xander, what exactly did happen last night after you lost contact? I heard you went up the tower and tried to take down a powerful mage.
Nah, he wasn't that powerful.
Say what?
Shh! Shut up! You're gonna get us caught!
Glad to hear that. Did you kill him?
No, he got away. I don't know where he is.
Ah, he couldn't have gotten far. You did ride into town with him after all.
The room chilled, and no sound came out for a while. Gladys calmly sipped her soup and kept her eyes on me, expectantly. I gulped, laughing. You and your imagination.
So my eyes were wrong, were they? I saw you riding into town with a tall man with a beard and a young woman with what seemed to be horns. You telling me I'm just losing my mind?
You've been losing your mind for a long time, Grandma.
Only because you're making me lose it. Where are they, Xander?
I blinked a few times, contemplating my options. I could continue playing dumb and go in circles with her for hours until she got bored, or I could simply trust Gladys with the information that would get me kicked out of the Knights. Or much worse. No big deal, right? Okay. Alright, you two. Come on out, she knows you're here. As if on cue, they fell out of the closet onto the floor over each other. They quickly got to their feet and dusted themselves off. Tall one's Phineas.
The evil!
The short one's Iron, and they're
Dragon Princess.
needing some information, and then they'll be on their way.
You
You
too?
too?
Ugh.
Sorry, back up. dragon, princess? You don't look like a dragon.
Do I look like a human to you either?
The horns are rather off-putting.
We're only here for today. I'm gonna head up to the library a little later today and find something that will help us turn Iron back to her dragon form. Then we'll all go separate ways and never speak of this again.
How did this even happen?
I told her the story as brief as I could, but definitely made mention of all the sword fighting I did. What? I had to prove a point. Anyway, once I was done, I let Gladys speak.
Wow. This sounds like a horrible joke. What would your father say?
I don't know a necromancer on short notice?
So what? You're leaving Vespera on some fool's errand to stop a dragon king from setting us all on fire?
You got a better plan? If Iron's right, he could destroy our entire city. No, screw that. Our entire land if we don't do something to stop it.
You must not have time to hunt then, eh?
Yeah, sorry, Grandma, not this time.
I see. Then you'd better make haste. Get to the library and fast. You've got a whole nation of people to save. Oh boy, the entirety of humanity is on your shoulders. I might faint.
Shut up. I'm out of here.
Xander, be careful. I heard Edith is looking for you and she isn't too happy. She found it very suspicious that you just disappeared at the same time as the mage. When you came into town and I saw the man, I put 2 and 2 together. Avoid her until you leave.
Good call. I'll do that. Make sure they don't kill each other while I'm gone. I was careful when traversing Vespera. Once I made it to the library, I verified that I wasn't followed and walked inside. It was completely empty. Many people in Vespera hated the library because of its massive size and decided it was just easier not to learn to read. Knights were required to read, though, so I did it just in case I was drafted. Big waste of time, at least I thought, until I needed to go into one. I looked around for a while, trying to find what I was looking for. But the massive building definitely left me confused.
Xander Roy, as I live and breathe. What a pleasure. What's a delivery boy for the boys in armor doing in a place of knowledge,
Jeez. Hey, Fiona. I was hoping you wouldn't see me, actually.
I couldn't imagine why. Could it be all those books you never returned 2 years ago?
Memory like a trap, I see.
Relax. I'll just put them on your tab. Well, Richter's tab. What are you here for, anyway?
What, I can't browse? If I'm just looking for a good old story, eh?
Oh, by all means. Browse away. But the way you entered, you're looking for quite the steamy story with how suspicious you looked.
What? I'm not looking for anything like that!
This is a quiet place. No yelling.
I'm not looking for anything in particular. I don't need help looking.
Oh? Well, if you change your mind, I'll be here.
Yeah, good to know. So you can probably tell from that conversation that I did, in fact, find nothing. This is a recurring theme, isn't it? Searched for about half an hour before giving up and going to find Fiona again. She was stacking papers and lowered her glasses. I approached, obviously very smug.
Finally tapping out?
Okay, hypothetically, what if I was looking for something? Would you know where to look?
Well, of course. I only spend every waking moment in here.
That's good. That's good. Say I was looking for something about magic. Would you have something like that?
Of course. We have a full section of tomes for magic. Taking up magic, are we?
Me? No. I was sent to find a certain book. Or a book about a certain magic, I should say. Richter sent me personally. It's on the down low.
Ooh, a secret mission, you say? Interesting. Pray tell, can you tell me what exactly it is you're looking for? Or do you find it easier to beat around the bush?
Okay, so don't freak out, because this is absolutely not for my use and is completely mission related. Would you have something for dragon magic?
Dragon magic? What kind of mission did he send you on, boy? Well, if the captain of the knights wants it, so he shall have it. On the down low, you say?
Oh yeah, top secret stuff.
We're trying to understand it more before we take on a powerful mage.
Need to know basis, I'm sure. Very well. Please follow me.
She took me on a short walk, keeping her head forward. I followed close behind, still looking around as if I was very lost, even though I had a guide. After a minute or so, we arrived in a secluded room with a few shelves and tables.
Here we are. Let me check through these. Dark magic. Dessert magic. Dessert magic. Isn't that just a baking book?
Ooh, set that aside for me as well.
Let's see. Doors and portals. Ah! Dragon magic. Here we are. Not a very thick book, is it?
Guess our knowledge of this is pretty limited. It'll have to do.
She handed me the book and I immediately sat down and opened it. I began flipping through it and she sat down next to me. I looked over at her.
What is it?
Oh, nothing. I just have nothing better to do.
In that case, help me look through this.
Sure. Always eager to learn more. Who knows? Maybe I'll need to summon a dragon one day. Let's see. It says from the history of dragon magic that it was used to protect humans.
That can't be right. Dragons are historically reclusive and avoid humans.
They weren't always like that. Little history lesson for you, free of charge. Originally, humans worshipped dragons, and dragons in turn protected them. Then one day, when humans began to train warriors and fighters, they decided to test their mettle against the most powerful of beings they could find. Dragons.
What? What would humans want to fight against dragons for?
Fame and fortune. The classics.
I just don't understand why the dragons weren't trying to fight us back then. I mean, if we attacked them first...
See, that's just it. Despite our aggression, the dragons simply regarded us as young and foolish, and decided to stay away. They saw themselves as higher than us, and went away for good, only using magic to defend themselves. It's also very interesting and ironic. The very magic they used to protect us is now used to protect themselves against us.
Okay, so hypothetically, this mage were to transform people into dragons. How would he do it?
A transformation spell? Oh dear, I think there would be only a few people that could pull something like that off. And even then, it'd likely be a one-time deal. It's very powerful stuff.
I see. That's really bad.
Hypothetically bad, you mean?
What? Oh, yeah. Hypothetically bad.
Yeah, at that point the only ones that could know of any sort of magic to turn a human into a dragon would be the dragons themselves.
Yeah, and that's a...
I stopped. I can't believe I hadn't thought of that sooner. I knew Iron didn't know squat about that kind of magic, but who's to say another dragon didn't? Iron was a princess. Any dragon we came across would be bound to help us out.
That's a great idea.
What? No, that's a horrible idea.
Thanks, Fiona. I gotta go.
Wait, Xander, your baking book!
I left the library in a hurry. I had to get back to my house and let the others know of my admittedly long-shot plan. I ran out of the library and I remember thinking, damn, maybe everything's gonna be fine.
Found you.
And then I remember thinking, shit. I turned to Edith and her face was very straight, and I could tell that she was irritated. Her arms were crossed and her foot was tapping.
Hey, what's up?
Oh, nothing. Just wondering where the hell you've been. That's all.
Yeah, just got home late. Did something pretty stupid, I guess.
Oh, I'd say so. You went up to the tower to fight Phineas alone, didn't you?
Yeah.
Xander, how could you? Do you know how dangerous that could have been? You could have been killed, or worse.
I know. Wait, worse than being killed? What?
After I got Richter to safety, I went back for you and everyone was gone. You, Phineas, all the troops? What happened?
At this point, I was kind of wondering if I should just ham it up and say I got him good, but that isn't what happened, and Edith wouldn't believe me anyway. A believable lie was much more preferable.
I got my ass kicked. I was no match for him. I thought I had him at one point and he got away, but it seemed like he was just toying with me.
Damn. Do you know where he went?
No.
That's a shame. If we find him again, we'll take care of it. Just stay out of it this time, okay?
Yeah, you got it. He was a real handful.
Tell you what, I'll bring you dinner tomorrow night.
I thought about that for a few seconds. She was gonna bring it tomorrow. She'd likely leave me alone for the rest of the day, and I'd be gone by morning. She'd be pissed, but the prospect of a dragon burning the city to pieces was somehow more frightening. Hell yeah. Make sure you bring something tasty, yeah?
As if I'd bring anything else. Take care of yourself, little brother.
As she walked away, I felt bad. Edith was my best friend, and I was lying to her face. I was kind of abandoning her. But I knew that maybe someday she'd understand. Provided, of course, she believed a word of what I said.